Hello and welcome to Story Meadow, stories for car journeys, bedtime and any other quiet time. My name's Marion and I'll take you on an adventure and we're going to meet some amazing new friends. We might learn a new thing or two and we're going to share some brilliant ideas that you might want to play afterwards or talk about with friends or family. I really hope you enjoy the story. I started making up stories for my own children, Anna, Ben and Noah, and they love them so much, they asked me to share them with the world. So wherever you are, I hope you enjoy this, and I'd love to hear from you too. So if you do want to share where you are in the world or share about a special occasion like a birthday, I will do my best to give you a shout out on the podcast in the next episode possible. All you need to do is ask a parent or a grown-up to email in at info@storymeadow.co.uk and I'll do my best to read them and share them on the podcast. Okay, enough chatting. Let's get all cozy so we can relax into the story. Let's take a first big breath in through your nose and slowly back out through your mouth. And this time, put your hands out in front of you as if you were holding a lovely hot chocolate in your hands. You're going to breathe in the smell through your nose. Smell that lovely chocolate. And then blow out softly through your mouth to cool it back down. Lovely. Well done. I think it's time to start our story. Are you ready? Billy Bunny makes some medicine. One day, Billy Bunny was in the forest waiting for Squirrel Lily. He'd gone to their playground that they had made, and they were meeting each other that very morning, and he was very excited to play on all their equipment together. They had made a seesaw, and they had made swings and tire swings and buckets that went into trees, and they'd made little dens and cozy nooks and tunnels and all sorts. It was a brilliant playground, and Billy loved to play in it with Squirrel Lily because she was so fun and they always had a great time together. But this day, she was really late. She was not coming. And Billy had tried to play a little bit by himself, and he'd waited a while, and he'd looked all around to see if she was hiding, but there was no sign of her. So he sat on the seesaw, and the seesaw plonked down to the ground, because if you sit on a seesaw by yourself, it really doesn't work at all, does it? It just flops to one side, and you really need another person to play on a seesaw. Thought Billy. Where could she be? Why is she not coming? And he looked up at the treetops again to see if he could see a flash of her orange tail. But there was nothing. No giggles, no noise, no Squirrel Lily. So Billy thought, maybe she's forgotten. Maybe I'll go and see where she is and see if I can find her in her house. So he wandered back home, and on the way he was feeling a little bit sad and a little bit lonely. But he thought maybe if she's just forgotten, then maybe we can still play. So he went all the way to her house and he knocked on her door, and it was actually Mummy Squirrel that answered. And Mummy Squirrel said, "Oh, Billy, I'm very sorry, but Squirrel Lily is not feeling well today. She's actually got a cold. She's actually really poorly." "Ah," thought Billy, "that's why. I was worried. I was worried that she didn't want to play anymore, or that she'd forgotten all about me." "Of course not," said Mummy Squirrel. "Why don't you come in and you can say a quick hello to her before you go?" So Billy hopped inside and he went into Squirrel Lily's bedroom, and she really did not look well. She looked really super duper poorly. Her tail was all curled up around her on her bed, and she had a little blanket wrapped around her, and her little nose was looking all wet and cold, and she was shivering a little bit. "Hi, Squirrel Lily," said Billy. Are you all right?" "Oh, um, hi, Billy. I'm I'm not great, but I'm really sorry. I wanted to come and play with you, but achoo!" she sneezed. "That's okay," said Billy, and he got an extra blanket for her from the bottom of her bed and put it all around her so she'd be nice and cozy. Um, I could cheer you up. I could do a silly dance for you." And he did a silly dance and wiggled his bottom and shook his arms up in the air. And Squirrel Lily smiled and giggled a tiny weeny bit, but she really didn't have much energy. Then Billy said, "I could tell you a joke. I'm really funny at jokes. Um, why do cows have horns?" I don't know. Wait, no, that's not right. Why do cows have, bells?" "I don't know," said Squirrel Lily. She said, I think it goes, something about their horns not working or something. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm rubbish at this." And that made Squirrel Lily smile a little bit and she giggled. And then she sneezed, and then she yawned, and her eyes fluttered closed, and she said, "Billy, I think we might have to play another day. I think, I think, oh." And before he knew it, Squirrel Lily was already asleep. "Oh dear," thought Billy. He tucked in her little blanket, and he wondered what he might be able to do to help her feel better. And then he had an idea. Deep in the forest, right near the edge of the meadow, lived Mrs. Dormouse. And Mrs. Dormouse was very good at knowing all the different plants in the forest and what they were good for and how they could help you if you were sick. So Billy ran out of Squirrel Lily's house. He hopped down into the bucket that shot him straight down to the ground, and he went running to Mrs. Dormouse's house. Now, when he got to Mrs. Dormouse's house, she was very, very busy. She was scurrying from one side of her kitchen to another, going into one cupboard, grabbing some spices, going to another cupboard, grabbing some herbs, running back to her big cooking pot and pouring in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. "Oh, Mrs. Dormouse," said Billy, "I wonder if you can help me." "Oh, not now, Billy. I'm very, very busy. I'm very, very busy." "But Mrs. Dormouse, I wondered if—" "Billy, you don't understand. My sister is having her babies today and we need everything spick and span and everything perfect and ready for her. I must prepare this special ointment for her." And she was preparing the most complicated potion he'd ever seen. A pinch of this, a mix of that, a squeeze of something else. All ingredients that Billy had never even seen before in his life. "Wow," he said. She said. "Now, no touching, Billy. Off you go now. I can't help today." "But Mrs. Dormouse, you don't understand. Squirrel Lily is poorly. She's really, really sick. She's sneezing and yawning and she's sleeping all day and she can't even play." "Oh dear," said Mrs. Dormouse. "That is very sad, Billy, but I really can't help right now. I'll try to help with that tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" thought Billy. Oh. So he went outside, and he sat on a log, and he scratched his little head, and he was trying to think of a way to help his friend, and he was trying to think what ingredients might be good for a medicine. Well, just then, a little mouse popped her nose out from under the brambles. It was Mila Mouse, and Mila Mouse was very beautiful and very small. She had lovely brown fur and a lovely long tail and long whiskers too, and little brown eyes, and Mina Mouse had these tiny little hands that were great at finding and picking things, tying knots, making crafts. She was a very clever little thing. And Mina said to Billy, "Billy, I think I can help. I'm not a doctor exactly like my mum is. She's fantastic, but I know all of the plants just the same as her. She's been teaching me, and I I do know some really good plants for colds and for sneezes and for sleeping well. Do you want me to show you?" Oh, Billy couldn't believe his luck. He said, "Mila, of course. Mina Mouse, you have to show me right now. Please, please, let's go. Come on. There's no time to lose." "All right," she said. So off they went together. And in fact, Mila Mouse was very, very good at knowing all her plants. She picked out all the great ones for Billy. She showed him dandelions would be really good for her blood and for all of her inside of her body. And she showed him that lavender would smell really lovely and it would make her feel nice and sleepy and calm. And she also found some lemon balm. Now, lemon balm would give her a bit more energy, but also feel relaxed. She found some rosemary and took a few sprigs of that, and it smelt so lovely. Billy said, "Are we roasting potatoes?" And Mila Mouse said, "Don't be ridiculous, Billy. This is medicine we're talking about." And she popped it in her basket. And last but not least, she found some thyme. Now, thyme is another herb that smells really, really lovely and is also very good for our health. So she popped everything into the basket and then she said, "Follow me, Billy. I've got just the bottle that we can mix this all in." And she found a little bottle in her house. It was round at the bottom and then small at the top. Now, Mila Mouse knew just what she was doing. She started chopping the ingredients, squeezing, squashing, crushing, ripping bits off until all the pieces were all nice and tiny, and the bottle smelt wonderful. All the different herbs, all the different plants had mixed and made a lovely, lovely smell. She said, "Billy, try this." And he took a little sniff. "Oh, this is lovely, so relaxing, smells so wonderful." "Yes, Billy. Now, you mustn't eat it." "Oh, why not?" "Well, it's quite strong. There's a lot of things in here, and it might hurt your tummy if you eat all of this. It's all strong things, you see. But you can smell it, and it will make you feel wonderful. But, even better, it will make Squirrel Lily feel better." Billy couldn't wait to take it to her. He popped the cork on the top and he hopped all the way to Squirrel Lily's house with Mila Mouse right behind him. "Come on, Mila, I'll show you the way." And they went up into Squirrel Lily's tree and they knocked softly on the door because they didn't want to wake her up. And it was Mummy Squirrel who opened the door. "Oh, Billy, what have you got there?" she asked. "Well, it's some medicine, you see. Mila Mouse, she's helped me to make it with all herbs from the forest to make a wonderful medicine for Squirrel Lily. It's not something she has to eat or drink. She just has to smell it." "Oh, okay," said Mummy Squirrel. "Why don't you go tiptoe into her bedroom because she's asleep, but you could pop it on her bedside table, then she can smell it when she wakes up." "Okay," said Billy, so he tiptoed inside. And as they went into the bedroom, Billy Bunny trod on a squeaky floorboard. And Mila Mouse said, "Billy, why don't I do this bit?" Mila Mouse is very tiny and she's got soft little paws. Little mice don't make much noise. So Billy passed her the bottle and she quietly tiptoed all around the bed. And she put the bottle on the bedside table and she opened up the cork and left it right on the bedside table where Squirrel Lily would be able to smell it even as she slept. And in fact, as she was sleeping, her little nose started to twitch and twitch. And Billy wondered if it was already working. Well, Billy Bunny and Mila Mouse left Squirrel Lily there, and they went back outside and they had a little play in the playground together. And then it was time to go off home and off to bed. But the next day, Billy Bunny went back to the forest and he went back straight to check on Squirrel Lily. He went into her tree and he knocked on the door and he said, Is Squirrel Lily there? Is she feeling any better? And Mummy Squirrels giggled. She said, Billy, she's feeling a lot better. Your medicine was wonderful. In fact, I think I'm going to leave it open just in our house to make sure nobody else gets poorly. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad she's feeling better. Can I see her? Can I see her? And Mummy Squirrel said, Well, you can, Billy, but she's not here. She's already in the playground. And Billy was so excited that he would have Squirrel Lily to play with again. So he ran back down the tree and he went running to the playground and they had a wonderful day. Squirrel Lily had all of her energy back and she was feeling fantastic. And they played and played and played. The end. Now, I wonder if you've had a go at making a potion before in your garden, or maybe a sort of medicine. One thing to remember is to never put anything in your mouth unless you're super, super, super sure and a grown-up has told you, yes, that plant is safe to eat, because some plants will make you feel quite poorly and can be bad for your tummies. So make sure you check first. But what you could do is have a go, just like Billy Bunny and Mealy Mouse, at making a smelling potion. So you don't need to add any water or any mud. It's just plants that you tear up and you see if you can make them. You might have to squeeze them or squash them to get a smell out of them and pop them all into a jar or into a bottle so that you can have a nice smell. Now that could be really lovely, especially if you use plants that are nice smelling. Could be flowers or it could be herbs, and see what you can make. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.